Hello and welcome to the iRacing Le Mans series live on ApexRacingTV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and this evening I'm joined alongside by Sam Kumo, and we're here at the fantastic Road America circuit for week 7 of this championship. And Sam, so far I've seen some terrific action. Personally, this is probably my favourite track in the world. Just love the flow of corners. Kind of the little banking, the challenges through turn 1 in particular, kind of so much speed through quite a few of these corners, the braking difficulties as well. And this is a real classic amongst endurance racing, at least on iRacing.
I definitely agree, Sam. And hello, welcome everyone. Yes, I think this is one of those tracks that maybe many sim racers maybe are not so familiar with outside iRacing. Typically, like the previous sims, they focus more on the European tracks. So this is kind of a American gem. I mean, for me, I don't know if for you, but for me this was the first sim where I even saw this track, and it has quickly become one of my favorites, I think.
Yes, absolutely. I think I dabbled a little bit around here in Project Cars, but even that was very minor. But no, this is one of the most frequent circuits on all of the series, particular the Le Mans series. It's at least on the calendar about 3/4 of the time. I'm very glad to be covering it today. In the championship, going into this round, I actually managed to close the little stats page I had before, but I am now getting it up. And in the HPDs in that field, Jeremiah Morton is leading the way, 200 points ahead of Jason Marichal. Matthew Stagg is in third. Carlos Alvarez Benidi is in fourth, and Clint Shane Smith is in fifth. So watch out for those drivers in the LMP2 category, of course, the second fastest category out there on circuits. Matt Barrett is the leader of the LMP1s. Peter Zuber is in second place there. Ricardo Roscoe is third, then it's Patrick Wolf and Marius Balacas in fifth place. In the GTEs, Florian Dienart is top of the standings. He's just ahead of Hugo Prieto, who we're just looking at a little bit right now. Sasha Engelhardt is a bit of a distant third place with Dane Suski and Jorge Blasco Vals rounding out top 5. So watch out for those drivers in particular. We're into the last 20 minutes now of qualifying. And still Jeremiah Morton wanting to put another lap time in. He's currently in third position, which is a little bit lower than he quite often is, Jeremiah. Can he improve on this time? He's only just going to cross the line, a couple of seconds to spare. And, well, I do not believe it was an improvement. So he stays in third position. And that is qualifying complete. It's a very long formation lap, this, so I don't have to rush myself too much with this
No, you
grid,
have all
which
the
is
time you need.
exactly. Honestly, I need to stretch this out as long as I possibly can with the 3.5-minute formation lap we have around here, along with the 2-minute gridding process. You can see, you can hear at least, I'm already gibbering on, but I'll get on with it now. Patrick Wolf is on pole position with Tom Micklemore in second place. 3 tenths of a second between those two. Then it's Dylan Mann in third, Matt Farrow fourth, championship leader, of course. Fabrice Cornet, good to see him around in fifth, I believe, a pure racing driver. Peter Zuber, second in the championship, starts in sixth. Then it's Ruslan Baramkulov, good to see him around. Not familiar with that driver, but good to see him in this field in seventh. Antoine Kuzan is in eighth, then it's Ricardo Orozco and David Onazol, rounding out the top 10 and all the LMP1 drivers. Then it's Alex Trainer, top of the P2 drivers. He's ahead of Patrick Meyer. Jeremiah Morton, a little bit of a disappointing qualifying for him, and he was actually 7 tenths off pole there. So perhaps we'll see a bit of an upset today. Carlos Alvarez Benidi, one of the top runners in the championship, starts in fourth. Then it's Calvin Fraudont, Marcelo Lopez, Jonathan Dance, Arcadius Newman, Jesus Grifo, and Tim Greven. That's all the HPDs. And then in the GTEs, Florian Dienard on pole position. He was just clear of Eita Barada, another driver who I'm not too familiar with. Hugo Prieto, second in the championship, starts in third. Then it's Last Back in fourth. Sasha Engelhardt starts in fifth place. Then it's Roman Papayan, Juha Pekalami, Dominic Push, Gine Ruiz Nunez, Barry Morrison, Dennis Neidhart, Alexandra Dejako, Sebastian Goddard, Miguel Camero Palomero, Ty Kim, good to see him around from the Sim Racers Asia series, Marchan Gadinsky, Igor Napol, and hopefully Stephen Brumfield will take the start. He didn't set a qualifying time. That could have well been due to a couple of invalidated lap times for him. So yeah, got through the grid. Now 38 drivers, so not the biggest field out here, Sam. The splits kind of felt quite. There were 3 relatively small splits for today's racing, and this is quite a long circuit as well. So maybe the issues we see with traffic sometimes, especially in the opening few laps, might not be quite so problematic today.
Yeah, there's plenty of space, but I think the challenge with this track is that we do have those very fast, high-speed corners, and let's say the king at the back. Let's put the map up. It can be really sketchy. Let's say you're on GTE. The LMP ones can come up really quickly there, and they may not even see you. So I think that's one of those points on the track that the drivers really need to be on the lookout for. And of course another thing is just the last few corners sector because it's just blind corners left and right, so it might be wider and there might be long straights, but it's by no means an easy track in the traffic.
Yeah, it does get quite narrow in places in this middle part of the circuit. Could be quite difficult. The majority of the... I should explain why we have a full formation up here. I believe it's because it's meant to imitate IMSA, and so pretty much all the American circuits have a full formation lap, which is a tad unnecessary, but it builds the tension decently, it must be said. And Patrick Wolf, he knows how to deal with the pressure. Of course, a pro driver, I believe. And also Fabrice Cornet, it's good to see him around today. The second highest I-rated driver. Fabrice has done quite a bit in the LMP1 in the past, but it's good to see him back in this car once again. And of course, yeah, you've got Peter Zuber just behind him as well. Do we expect Jeremiah Morton to rise up the field, do you think, Sam? Because he was quite far behind in qualifying, 7/10 off pole position. But usually he has the edge on Alex Trainer and Patrick Meyer quite comfortably. So do you think Jeremiah's going to be able to rise to the top today?
I definitely think so. Jeremiah he has been very fast in the race, and this is one of the circuits where overtaking is possible and maybe easier than everywhere else. So if he has a decent race setup, I think he will be challenging for the win of this race.
Yeah, we certainly wish him the best of luck. Of course, the championship leader and quite a comfortable championship leader. Unfortunately, no Johan Harth around today. He's probably his biggest challenger to Jeremiah Morton, but hopefully we'll see him back in future weeks. We are just coming round Canada corner for the LMP1 drivers. All the classes done a good job at separating out, and it can often be quite a difficult start here. Pace car will pull in relatively early, and it's up to Patrick Wolf to decide when he puts his foot down, deploys that 1,000 horsepower in that Porsche LMP1 car. So here we go then, week 7 of the series. We're at Road America. Patrick Wolf on pole position, Tom Micklemore alongside him. Wolf waits for a while, but now he deploys that energy, and away we go. Matt Farrell with a terrific start, and he's going to go storming into the lead from 4th place. Well, that's the power of that 400 brake horsepower on the front wheels, and it powers him into the lead. Tom Micklemore gets past Patrick Wolf as well, so terrific start for him. In the HPDs, we've got side-by-side for the lead. It's Meyer versus Trainer. Morton only just behind. Is he going to run wide there? The driver on the outside. That's Meyer on the outside. Trainer on the inside. Looks like Trainer is going to be able to hang on, but Maya with a terrific start. Now Maya's going to go all the way around the outside at turn 2, and perhaps he has the better run, heading down into turn 5 as well. A terrific start in these HPDs. You can see the rest of the field all slipstreaming one another. I can tell you in the GTEs, it's still Dinard leading the way, but we'll stick with this one a little bit longer. Maya and Trainer, Maya down the inside, and he does take the lead of this race. Still side by side though, between the pair of them. This is terrific racing. Calvin Fraudons has got a good start, and it's still side by side between the top 2. But finally, Patrick Maya does make that one stick. Almost contact between second and third, but it's now Maya leading, Trainer in second, Fraudons in third, and Morton, who he said would probably win this race, he's down into 5th place after a disappointing start. Lidan still leads in the GTEs, by the way. Such Engelhardt and Lamy as well, the big gainers in 3rd and 4th. They've gained a few places each.
Yeah, I think the biggest losers on the first lap were Hugo Pareto and Roman Papian. Both dropped all the way down, and now they just have to catch up the rest of the pack. And I think we saw even few more incidents on the timing screen, at least on the GTE class, but so far everyone is still running.
Yeah, considering how close those opening couple of corners were, it's quite miraculous that we don't seem to have any drivers with significant damage out there. Maybe a little bit of fenders falling off, but that will be about it. As the drivers start to get into it, and of course the slipstream effect very strong around this circuit. You've got 3 long straights, and we're approaching one of them right now. Last back trying to close in on his row. Still Farrow leading the way, by the way. Of course, they're nearly halfway round the lap already. Shows the pace of these LMP1 cars. But good to see the Ford represented as well here, Sam. And back trying to get the move right now on Neidhardt. I don't think he usually runs the Ford. Here he comes. And that is gonna be a pretty simple move down into turn 1. And slots him back into position. There is Neidhardt.
Yeah, very clean move there. And now Dennis Neidhardt has the opportunity to try to slipstream back, but let's jump into the LMP2s, because there seems to be a lot of action going on here in the midfield of LMP2.
Seemingly Newman just dropping down the order. There always going to be contact. There is contact, and off the track goes Jonathan Dance, a regular in this split, but he's lost 4 positions, and it really wasn't his fault one bit. I think that was maybe Tim Grieven just giving a bit of a nudge. Grieven's now up 4 places so far. So terrific battle between those guys. Very close amongst the top 3, and then you've got a bit of a gap to everyone else.
And Frickso CSGO, thank you for the sub. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. On that last lap, Matt Farrow did the fastest lap of the race in the P1 category. Still only 0.6 of a second clear of Tom Micklemore. Here it is. Wolf not making much of an impression in these early stages, and he's under pressure, in fact, from Fabrice Cornelius. Do you know if Wolf and Cornelius are teammates, Sam?
Let's see, what do the paints tell us? Oh, and that is
Cornelius
getting hit, yeah.
By Dylan Mann, and now Zuber might have a go, but Cornelius stays ahead. Good to see Dylan Mann out there. Joe's improved rapidly in this car, stuck with it for a while, and he's getting some terrific results. And to overtake Fabrice Cornelius like that, not a bad effort whatsoever.
Also, I did hear on the chat that Cornelius is currently not in our team, he's privateer.
Ah, right. I think he used to be Pure Racing.
Yes, I believe so. Also, Brandon Bradshaw, thanks for the sub. Let's see, there is Jeremy Morton, and oh, this is a big mess.
Oh,
this is a big mess.
So Morton, well,
Morton,
that's a
Dance,
commentator's curse, I think.
Lopez. I think we need to go back and see what happened there. See
They almost came to blows at that corner on the last lap, of course. That's where they got really close, and they didn't really learn their lesson. This is how it happened.
Oh, it looked like, yeah, just got stuck almost, and then everyone else really followed behind them. Yeah, that was a late commentator's course, I would say.
Yeah, it was a bit delayed. So Newman, did he just get past Griffo? Or maybe just fended him off? But yeah, for Morton, any chance at the race win is now over. We've still got a terrific battle, by the way, for the race lead in that class. Still the top 3, separated by less than a second and a half. Top 2, separated by less than 0.3 of a second. There's Trainer really close in. Will be a little bit of a disadvantage, especially through these first 2 corners with the turbulent air in the car. But we have heard from Joas recently that it's not too bad. That he can cope with it, but the slipstream effect as well, not much of an effect either. So not the easiest car to overtake in this, but certainly keeping him honest at the moment is Alex Trainer.
And that's also a good point by Alessandro on the chat. The Australian ping, so it can be that's really what it looked like, because normally the cars wouldn't get stuck like that. It has to be like the latency issues there. But hey, that's kind of what you have to deal with.
Yes. And I think Josh Rogers is somehow leading the Porsche Esports series, despite being from Australia, and how he's been out, because that rating is properly tight. So for him to survive a championship, that's the way he has done. Very impressive. But yeah, it's very different. Morton's done a good job of it so far this season. Just a little bit unlucky in that case. So yeah, still very Micklemore, Wolf dropping back. You didn't expect to see this, and now it's still a man. A man on the charge at the moment, but he's got to fend off the Beast Cornelius. Can Cornelius find the inside line? No, he couldn't. As they race past the BMW, here comes Cornelius. He's going to try to return the favour, and what Man did a few laps ago, there's nearly contact between the two of them. Man had to go off the circuit to keep the position, but Cornelius this time back down the inside into turn 6 and through 7. I'm sure he'll start to pull away, so he will be delighted with that one. Man, almost trying to come back, and Cornelius having to go defensive into, is it Big Bend or Carousel? Not sure.
I think it's Carousel.
Carousel, right. Oh no, sorry, it's Sebring, isn't it, with Big Bend? Apologies.
Yeah, these two are not looking like the best of friends right now, so...
Oh, here we go. Oh, that's off the track.
Yeah, that's off the track and off the wall.
Yeah. I mean, he's got it done again to counter corner. This isn't the most efficient way to deploy your energy. So saying, here comes Cornelius. Well, they spent more than a lap off the circuit than they have on the circuit, and Cornelius, backed up a point right there. Going off the track once again, and now Zuba's going to try to get past, and now Zuba is off the circuit, deep into the gravel trap, and well, that was a bit of a mare of a lap, it's safe to say, in Peter Zuba. I don't think he did too much wrong there. Here we go again, though. Cornelius is going to get overtaken by Kuzan now. And Cornelius, who was delighted that he'd got up into 4th position, seemed to have all the momentum on his sideways, back down into 6th place now, and it's just tapped the driver off the circuit.
And now they're having to also deal with the traffic, and that is maybe a small slide there.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a tap from Zuba. Sorry, not Zuba, Kuzan.
I was being very diplomatic.
Oh, right, apologies.
But yeah, it looks like definitely Cornelius needs to kind of cool down. Because into his traffic he cannot really make any mistakes, because if he makes a contact with that GTE, it's really him that really ends up paying for it.
Oh, there you go.
Like so, I think.
Tough to make the move around the car, so you gotta be really got to drive around the wall of death, and well, he's nearly in the wall of death, and well, struggling right now as for Beast Cornelius. Here we go, 3 wide,
that's not a good idea.
Oh dear, that's contact, and into the wall, big impact. Cornelius out of the race, Roscoe out of the race, and Palomiro, well, I don't think he realised what was going on until a few seconds after he'd hit the wall, and he's in big trouble as well.
Yeah, just trying to see from Palermo's perspective, can we get the roll bar here? I think he just... the cameras are not great. Oh, that was a wildlife.
Cool.
And the GTEs coming behind were really lucky that the prototypes just slid off the track and off the racing line. So
I mean,
after
that,
that, yeah, after that, Farah is still leading, Meyer leading the LMP2s and Denard in GTEs. I think we might have lost few GTEs after in that kind of mess, to be fair.
yeah, so Nunez, I think, was already out. Grunfield was already out as well. But yeah, we lost Palermo. And yeah, there's still three retirees, seemingly.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
been a
most
ball.
of it was in the midfield.
Gadzinski just losing a place. And they go to Jacko. Ty Kim having a good run of it, by the way. He's up, I believe,
7th place in
7
the
places.
class.
Yeah, 7 places in class. Yeah, 12 places overall. So the Sim Racers Asia driver doing a very good job. Of course, Sim Racers Asia using the F3 car. That'll be midday tomorrow, and I'll actually be commentating on it, I believe. Always good fun in the F3 cars. But yeah, Ty Kim a regular in that, so good to see him in the GTE once again, and being some relatively good drivers, it must be said.
Definitely good. Let's see, what's actually the SOF here? 4.1 for the GTE, that's actually not too bad. I think it has been going up very slightly. So definitely 7th place in this kind of class is not a bad attempt.
Yeah, thanks to, of course, if you're a driver listening to this back, thanks for turning up to race. It certainly makes it very entertaining for us. No doubt, here we go. Gonna see a bit of side-by-side once again. Kim versus Push at the moment. So Push will get into the slipstream. Really, that BMW ought to have quite a big slipstream effect because it is quite large. Here we go, down the inside, and that is going to be pretty simple. I think Ty Kim, giving him plenty of room, didn't want to lose the 2 places, and he'll just settle for the 1 place lost, and will dip back into the slipstream and try to maybe improve his lap times a little bit by following the car ahead, I imagine. Has Myers been leading the HBDs for the whole time, hasn't he, Sam?
I think so,
Yeah,
although
I think he has, yeah.
my sheet is saying that he is... yeah, that's right. Confused there. Yeah, I think he's been leading the whole race.
Yeah,
With Trainer and... Trainer in the second, yeah.
Yeah. Fordon starting to drop back a little, but actually now 2 seconds behind, lost half a second to Trainer on the last lap. So Calvin doing a decent job out there. He's a long way ahead of Jonathan Dance, who, remember, was in a gravel trap earlier on. Lost 4 positions in 1 corner, but he's somehow got back up into 4th place. Now with Griffo in 5th, Benidi in 6th, Greben in 7th, who had a terrific start, but not so much anymore. And then it's Lopez as well, who got caught up in a bit of an incident, I believe.
Yeah, I think Lopez, he is currently just working his way back up. He is 2 seconds a lap faster than the 2 other drivers in front of him. So I think we can expect him to move up at least to 6th position in very short order. Also, we do have Newman moving up again. He did have to make the pit stop. Oh, and we have a change for the lead in the LMP2. That is Trainer.
So it must have been a mistake, I think.
Yeah, that has been. Let's just see, can we find out what happened there? That's not too far back, but I think Meyer just had a poor exit after the last corner, and Trainer was able to get the slipstream.
now 1.2 seconds ahead is Alex Trainer. Although I think that was due to the traffic, and now he's going to be a bit more than 1.2 seconds ahead, and that's purely down to Patrick Meyer making a mistake. And now Fordons has got up into second place. So Meyer with a dire half lap after driving pretty much faultlessly for 8 laps or so. And now just a couple of mistakes, and he's all of a sudden about 4 seconds off the race lead. So disappointing for Patrick Meyer. I remember, Sam, when I've raced in the DP around this circuit, which for me is the best combination, Daytona prototype around this track, just absolutely immense. And whenever I kind of went into the grass traps and the gravel traps around this place, caused a lot of damage to the car. You've raced a little bit in the GTEs this week. Would you say you pick up quite a bit of aero damage if you run a bit wide around these corners?
I mean, you get the damage because there is very little runoff area except on the exits. And just getting back on the track, it seems like the road edge here is very sharp, so when you get back you have to be really careful to not just completely lose control. But I don't know, maybe Meyer might be also suffering with the heat. I see that he is also from Central Europe, so... but he is making a pit stop, so that might be actually some damage on his car. We will see when we then get the time for his pit stop. In the City East we do have a move here. Barry Morrison moving up to third ahead of Juha-Pekka Lammi.
Yeah, Morrison, one of the mainstays in the GTE category. And having a really good race, one of his best races of the season, I think, up in third place. Only 5 seconds off the race lead, and considering that he started, I believe, in 8th place. It's a really good race so far from Barry Morrison.
Yeah, that's it's in plus 10 positions overall, so he is one of the biggest movers in the GTE class. The other two would be Tai Kim and Igor Nabol, both plus 10 and plus 11.
Would you say the BMW is the strongest car around this circuit? Oh, sorry, just a spin in the background.
Yeah, I hear that.
Not in the GTEs, I think.
No, I don't believe so. It's not showing up on my event sheet, so I don't know who that actually was. But I did hear it.
Yes. It could have been a really cool gift, and they didn't use any time. Sure.
Well, we do have few drivers who are at least a lap down, so it could have been one of those. But yeah, back to your question about the BMW. I would say that at least for me personally, the the point of BMW is that it's very predictable to drive. It's very comfortable. I'm having way less trouble with the curbs and braking and everything compared to, let's say, Porsche or Ferrari. At least for me, Porsche can be very difficult under braking and when you're just trail braking into corners, and Ferrari it can be bit more nervous, I think. So Ferrari is kind of... It feels nice to drive, but it's not the fastest by any means, I don't think. But it's
right.
Very good, like middle ground, good compromise.
Of course, the World GT Series as well, using the GTE cars on a Monday evening, and we're seeing some terrific racing in that, and we're seeing some terrific racing between Tim Grieven right now and Marcelo Lopez. And Grieven is going to try to go all the way around the outside. He made the move into turn 1, which I thought was a pretty bold move, and that's a bold move as well. Runs wide though in turn 6. And coming back at it is his rival. Pushes him off a little bit to don't go into that corner, and eventually coming out ahead is Tim Grieven. Gets ahead of Marcelo Lopez. And, well, that was quite an important move for Grieven. Must have had an issue earlier on because he was having a good run at the start of the race, fighting for about 5th place, but after a few incidents for drivers, he's managed to get back up into that position, but he is 7 seconds behind Jesus Grifo now.
And I actually believe that is Lopez coming back up the field
Oh,
and trying to make
really?
a move on Greven. Yeah. Because if you remember, he dropped down all the way to almost the last, I think. And now for the past few laps he's been lapping 2 seconds faster than Greven. So I believe this is only a matter of time, really.
I mean, if I wasn't accompanied by you, Sam, this whole commentary business would be a complete shambles. It's safe to say. So yeah, Greven. Well, you can certainly see how Greven seems to be struggling to hold off his rival. Greven defensive again, and there's not a whole lot you can do around that turn one. Such a fast corner, barely any braking in this HPD car. It's all about just setting it up for turn 5. The wondrously named turn 5, of course. It's well, you can count the corners for yourself, but I guarantee by the time you get to the end of this straight, you're not going to be on turn 5, safe to say. So Greven defending again. This is pretty much the move that Greven tried to pull off on the last lap when he went round the outside, but this time it's Tim who fends off the inside, and he really wants to keep this position. They are pretty much by themselves at them. Also, they got Benidi behind them as well.
Yeah, that's not what I'm seeing on the screen. There is a bunch of GTEs and LB2s as well, so... They are... and... They came together, and that might be Lopez disqualified, yes.
Wow. Well, I mean, we're not far into the race. We're 22 minutes in. And, well... We've seen a couple of incidents for Lopez which weren't his fault, so... To be fair to him, it's probably been a bit unfair that, but 17 incidents, and he is popped out of the session.
But it is also very easy to get the 1Xs in here as well, just like last week at the Spa. Because there's few corner X where you just tend to get the 1X as the... okay, my brain has just frozen. Trying to think of the... Okay, let's move on. It will come to me at some point.
I don't know what you were going to...
curb! Say. When the curb runs out, then you kind of tend to pick up the 1X. Like here on this exit.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad that we sorted that out. That could have been... that would have been playing on my mind, let alone your mind for the rest of the broadcast.
Look, it's been a long week. Thankfully it's Friday.
Yes. I mean, I forgot what the British Touring Car Championship was the other day, to be honest. I was saying Ash Sutton 2017. What did he win? The British something. It was the British Touring Car Championship, of course. So, this is Zuba versus Barim Kulov. And Barim Kulov doing a decent job in 7th place, keeping Zuba honest. Of course, Zuba's 2nd place in the championship. In the lead, though, of this race, we haven't paid much attention to the very pointy end of this overall field. It's Farrow versus Micklemore. 0.8 of a second. On that last lap, Farrow set the fast lap of the race. It was the fastest clean lap of the race. So he didn't pick up any incidents. Meanwhile, Tom Micklemore was 1/100th faster than his rival, but did pick up a incident. So, or maybe multiple incidents. So these two very evenly matched. Do you think maybe Micklemore is just waiting till the pit stops, Sam? Because that gap, as far as I'm aware, hasn't really got more than a second or so. So maybe he's just playing the waiting game.
That's possible, but I'm not sure if Micklemore has really had the pace previously to really match up with Farrow and Wolf. So it's also possible that he is just also making use of Farrow as just clear the air in front of him and following the draft. But I'm kind of surprised how far Patrick Wolf has kind of falling at this point. That's over 10 seconds behind Micklemore, so I was expecting maybe a bit more pace from Wolf, so I'm not sure if it's just a setup or hasn't he just had time to do practice.
He was very quick in qualifying, wasn't he? And Patrick isn't necessarily. It's not as though when he's on top form, he beats everyone by a second in qualifying. He's usually pretty consistent between qualifying and the race. I wonder if he's maybe got a little bit of damage, maybe hit a curb or something. But then he was struggling from the very start. Remember, he started on pole position and got done by Farry. He started down in 4th place, just on the run down to turn 1 as Farry deployed a lot of energy, got track position, and he hasn't really looked back ever since then. Meanwhile, Wolf struggling to keep man behind him still. Kuzan isn't really near these guys anymore. Ever since we saw that big crash at the kink earlier on earlier on in the race. Of course, by the way, a little bit off topic, but World GT are using the alternative layouts around this circuit. So around the kink, you have an extra kind of left-right section, which is very unusual. I don't know, Sammy, if you've ever used the alternative layout around this circuit, if you even know what the alternative layout is.
Yes, I do. I think it was used in some official series like years ago, but like very rarely. Like here, I'm guessing you
There
just
it
go
is.
over the side there. See,
Yeah,
do we get a better view from someone else? No, that is too far.
here we go.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, that's really weird because it just makes it much slower track. But this track is kind of more suited to the faster classes, so it just might make it a bit too long, in my opinion.
I think, well, yeah, that's at least you're not going to, smash into a concrete wall at 200 miles an hour when you take the Ultra. I assume that's the use in it. I guess if Formula 1 came here, that would probably be the layout that they would use. Would be terrific if Formula 1 came here, must be said. Nepal losing a place potentially. Well, he's losing the track because off the circuit there. We'll pick up a 1x and some fantastic battling between him and Jacko. He was fighting with another driver earlier on in this race, was Jacko, but he's made good progress since then. And he just cannot get the move done. The Porsche just about wide enough to hold position. This is pretty much the closest battle at the moment out on circuit. Everyone's kind of spread out a little bit, about 2 or 3 seconds between each of the drivers currently. But this is one of the long straights I was talking about pretty much from the start of the broadcast. It's not necessarily a straight, it's got a few kinks in there, but it's still a fantastic slipstream opportunity. But really not enough of an opportunity for the Jacko to make the move. Here he goes. Final corner can be half an opportunity. And he's almost into the back of his rival. Well, you don't get much closer than that. And trying to get absolutely everything there is Alexander. 0.2 of a second, the gap. Less than that now, 1/10 of a second. It might even be a negative soon, because here comes the Jacko. On the outside of Nepal, he pulls ahead, going into the braking zone, but that outside line in these GTE cars is pretty much impossible to hold, because you know your rivals probably just going to shove you straight off the circuit. Of course, no stewards in official racing, and so pretty much what happens out on circuits stays out on circuit. You don't really have to pay the consequences for it, so drivers can be a little bit more tough. As once again, side by side, they go. Nepal just keeps on putting his car in the perfect place and not really finding an opportunity or not finding an opening. Maybe here's an opening. Down the inside into 6. Ever so close between these two drivers. But Nepal just gets the inside line when it matters, and well, they're costing each other quite a bit of time at the moment, but he won't care one bit.
Yeah, just look at the times. Yeah, definitely they are losing time to Roman Papian. It's still 13 seconds, so they are not in immediate danger here. But Nepal definitely knows where to place the car, just to cover the line. And what happened in the LMP1? I believe we had issue with the Dylan Man.
Oh dear. Yep, he's he pitted.
Oh, but he also left. Did he?
I've got him pitting 3
Dylan,
times.
Dylan man jumped to bits. Well, he is all the way down to 7th in the class right now, so it's definitely not going his way.
It was a long pit stop, 40 seconds, which is a while, at least according to my screen. So are we halfway? We are halfway through, aren't we? 31 minutes. We are halfway through this race. The Jacko then into the pits. He'd had enough. He was like, I'm not going to overtake Igor anytime soon. So he comes into the pits and will try to execute the undercuts on his rival, or maybe just was struggling for fuel. Not sure.
No, I don't think so. It's just he is definitely trying to get the undercut. Napol was just way too strong on the defense, and maybe Napol just sees. The Jackal sees that this is his best opportunity to really, because it seems like he is faster, but just losing so much time in that battle.
Tim Greven is, I think he's dropping down the order currently. It has had a troublesome. Actually, no, we didn't see a terminal crash for Tim Greven, did we?
No, I think he has just pulled out. I do not see him on the track at all.
It's a shame. Usually one of the front runners in that car. Power coming under pressure again for Mickelmore. So Mickelmore did drop about 1.25 seconds off, but maybe it's just the traffic which has helped him back onto the rear of his rival. These two aren't teammates. It's not the normal Ferrari versus Hamilton battle that we have, where you kind of feel as though they're not going to be super aggressive on one another because they may as well get the 1-2. Pretty much Mickelmore can take all the liberties he likes to try to get past Matt Fairfair, by the way, the highest I-rated driver in this session at 8,000 I-rating, which well, it makes me quite jealous with my with my half respectable 3.8.
I think that's 4 times my I rating.
I mean, to be fair, if you put Faro versus you in a Porsche, you know, I reckon you could hold a candle up to him.
Yeah, I think he would lap me 4 times at least. There goes Faro just running a little bit wide. I don't know, maybe he was shocked and heard me saying just only 4 times. So maybe maybe that would be 5 or 6 times getting lapped instead. Yeah, right now this is really the closest battle that we got. I see we have few pit stops that are starting in the LMP2 class. So we will see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, Fordant's pacing from 2nd place, I believe. He was fighting with Maya earlier on, wasn't he? So to keep an eye out on that one, because Maya came into the pits pretty much as early as he possibly could. And it seems as though Fordant's got quite a bit longer of a pit stop than Maya. Although Maya's a long way behind. There he is. And so he's half a lap. Did he pit twice then, Maya? According to my screen, he's pitted twice, but that might not be accurate.
Yeah, on my screen he also said that his second pit stop was only 8 seconds, so did he get the penalty? Maybe a speeding penalty on his pit lap and then had to come in again.
I mean, that's harsh. Around the longest pit lane, pretty much in road motorsport, to have to go down. It has left him about half a lap behind Calvin Fordham. Remember, Maya was fighting for the win. He was leading for the first 8 laps of this race. Made a couple of mistakes, and all of a sudden, a long way a trip. There's Carlos Alves Benidi.
Not the only driver who seems to be having some issues with the track this week. Just like that, there's very little runoff area, so once you go in the wall and once you go off, you will be kind of in a trouble, let's say. As we also had the LMP2 leaders coming in for the pit stop. That is Trainer and Dance right behind him.
Yeah, you might see Jesus Griffo as well into the pits. No, Griffo stays out, and he will momentarily take the lead of the race, and he should bathe in his temporary glory as he leads lap 20 of this race. I was actually watching the Marcus Winkelhock race from 2007 Nürburgring, and supporting a similar livery to that, the orange livery from the Spiker on Jesus's car. I don't know if you've got that livery as well, Sam, but personally for me, looks pretty nice.
Yeah, this is kind of a black and orange livery with black helmet and this kind of sort of orange visor. Let's see, can we get a closer look? Yeah, looking very nice.
I mean, just like Marcus Winkelhock, he would love a downpour of rain right now. Would get a he would keep the race lead that he's so far earned, but unfortunately, I think he'll have to wait for 3 or 4 years for that to happen on iRacing. And instead, we've only got some 23 minutes to go in this race. Antoine Cousin into the pits in the P1s, and he's just come out of the pits now. So he is still behind Dylan Mann, but he's a little bit closer to Dylan Mann. Now 5 seconds behind instead of 9 seconds behind as he was earlier on. So Cousin, who got involved in a little bit of a incident earlier on with Bruce Cornelius, might be able to catch up as the 2 leaders are into the pits, Matt Farrow and Tom Mickelmore.
And
Patrick Wolf. So
yeah, Patrick Wolf. I just want to take another look at that pit entry because let's see. Ah, I'm making a mess of this. Never mind, it stayed way too long. Because it looked like Mickelmore was coming in so fast that he got on 2 wheels there on the entry.
Gonna be Mickelmore ahead of Matt Farrow, who's had an absolute horror of a pit stop. 26 seconds, 15 seconds longer, and well, to me that looks like it is a speeding penalty. So I think you're probably right there, Sam, that there was something up with their pit entries. Because, yeah, about 26 seconds compared to Mickelmore's 10 seconds. And, well, that could have just decided this race. Mickelmore was behind for pretty much the entire stint. Wasn't sure if he was waiting for something to happen. I'm sure he wasn't waiting for that to happen, but it was the perfect thing to happen. He's in the lead by 14 seconds, and Patrick Wolf now not too far behind Matt Farrow either.
I'm just curious because Mickelmore's pit stop was 5 seconds faster than anyone else. Other drivers are in about 15-16 seconds, whereas Mickelmore was only 10.6. So he must be running maybe a fuel saving strategy, because that is very little fuel that he's taking for rest of the 40 minutes. 20 minutes, I mean.
Yeah, you don't really fuel save in the LMP1 as far as I'm aware, because if you lift and coast, then you're not recovering any energy from the braking, and so any fuel that you don't use by lifting and coasting, you're losing that performance because you're not recovering as much electrical energy from the kinetic energy recovered from the braking. I think that's how it works, at least. I'm talking so I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. So, yeah, maybe just knowing something that we don't know, or what the other drivers don't know, because you're absolutely right, Sam. That was a very short pit stop. So a little bit of a rundown then. So it's Tom Mickelmore leading the way, ahead of Matt Farrow, 14 seconds between the two of them. Patrick Wolf is in third position. Dylan Mann is in fourth, and Antoine Cousin is in fifth at the moment in that class. Not really any battles going on. In the P2s, everyone's made their pit stops. Alex Trainer is leading the way. He's 6 seconds ahead of Calvin Fordham, just edging out that gap bit by bit as this race has gone on. Jonathan Dance is now a quite a comfortable third place. Jesus Grifo is in fourth, and then it's Patrick Meyer after issues earlier on in fifth, and Arcadeus Newman in sixth. In the GTEs, the pit stops just happening now. Florian Dienard still leads though going into the pit stop stages. It's 3.8 seconds ahead of Sachel Engelhardt. Juha Pekka Lamy is in third position, and that's Dennis Neidhart and Tai Kim rounding out top 5 there. Morrison, the highest placed driver to have made a pit stop so far. He was running earlier on, I believe in third position was Barry Morrison, so expect him to take back that place once all the drivers ahead of him have made their pit stops as well.
Yeah, I believe Morrison was battling with Juha-Pekka Lammi, or at least close to it. He did make the past few laps ago. So I think now it's gonna be really up to if he can just get a good laps here, stay out of trouble, and not really get tangled into the LMP traffic. Because it's always a risk to make the first pit stop. You end up having to run with a heavier car, and if you are running long as possible, you are kind of free to pick and choose when you do it, as the leaders are coming into pits.
Yep, Dienard and Engelhardt. If Dienard gets a speeding penalty, just as we think Matt Barry did, he would lose lead. Still pretty close between these two. A mistake from either would be decisive in this race. Won't be too long. Pit stops should be about 12 seconds. Dienard currently 11, 12, 13, 14, and that's it. Engelhardt 1 second quicker, but you can see he's not going to trouble him too much. Gap down to 3 seconds according to my screen. Lamy 12-second pit stop, and that was 3 seconds faster than Barry Morrison. So this could be quite close between the two. Then Morrison just coming around the final corner right now. We might just see him going over the crest. But you know what? Lamy is going to have this one comfortably ahead of Barry Morrison. He's only just crossed the line. And you were talking about it before, Sam. It's risky to come into the pits first, and Lamy is taking full advantage of that, and he now is back in that third place.
Yeah, just try to take a look at Morrison's sector times, and it doesn't seem like there was any major issues, but maybe it's just the pit entry and exit, plus the pit stop time where he lost some time. So now Morrison kind of has to get back on it and make the move again. He was able to overtake Juha-Pekka once before, so now he just needs to do it again. Although maybe Lammi is now kind of wisened up to it and maybe devised something to fight back, but we'll see. It should be a interesting last few laps for this race, for the battle for third place in the GTE class.
Yeah, Morrison with 5 seconds to catch, so quite a big margin. But certainly he's got the potential to close that down. So back is now in fifth place.
Fifth.
Ahead of Neidhart and Push. Yeah, once again, everyone's kind of got 4 seconds between one another. There's been a bit of a frustrating race since kind of the first 20 minutes or so, because you feel as though there's some really evenly matched drivers, but they're just getting a little bit out of they're just kind of pulling away from one another ever so slightly. If this was a reverse grid race, I think it'd be absolutely awesome, because there's not a big difference in pace between first and last in each of the in the classes. This back just gets overtaken by a couple of the HBEs.
Yeah, I think we might need some competition cross on yellow here to spice it up.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing they do in NASCAR, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard about that, yes. And also, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the DGFX Endurance Series. But for a while, they did use competition yellows, I think, in that as well. That's an endurance GT championship, a very good endurance GT championship. The season that I took part in, there were so many crashes, they didn't really have the need to have to occasionally deploy the safety car because there are safety cars out every 15 minutes or so due to the amount of crashes. Good memories of that. But no, I'd certainly be up for that. Unfortunately, we don't have the power to do that. But well, maybe in the future, spectators will have that ability. I mean, I would support that change from iRacing. A little bit of news actually from iRacing recently. Sam, apparently the TCR car is definitely going to be released for next season. Also, the Barcelona circuit's going to be ready for next season as well, which I wasn't really expecting. I thought it'd be a little bit later, but they've after scanning it back in January, they've got on with it, and it's going to be out in just a month and a half's time.
Yeah, the Barcelona is really surprising. I completely forgot they even scanned it, and I wasn't expecting it to come anytime soon. As for the TCR, I think there might be one group of drivers, racers who are really looking forward to it. I think they are often featured on our channel. What's the talk about it on the PSRTC groups? Are they
Well,
excited?
I'm not sure how excited. Personally, I'm excited because I make the rules and I'm kind of the head of the BSR TC at the moment. Always Push has had an off and he's kept it out of the barrier. Will not lose a position. But Ty Kim is now only about 5 seconds behind him, but not too bad there for Dominic. He wasn't too far behind Neidhart, actually. I think Neidhart was just up the road. There was Neidhart just few seconds further ahead. Did the P1 give him a nudge? A little bit of netcode, I think, involved
Yeah,
in that one. And
got pushed off the
Push.
track. Just a little bit.
Yes. Oh, well done. I mean, that was deliberate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, it's just, yeah, you made a pun a few weeks ago, which I was also applauding, but didn't turn out to be deliberate. Anyway, Dominic back onto the circuit. Yeah, the BSRTC, of course, will be changing to the TCR in a few weeks' time. Keep an eye on the on our Facebook page. We might maybe post or share the registration to that, but it should get a few more drivers involved because let's face it, currently the Kia is being used and we still get 40-odd drivers, which is pretty good. So imagine if we actually had an accurate, up-to-date car which is raced in real life. You know, it would actually it would get a few more drivers involved. So it should be a terrific season. No doubts about that. And Barcelona, I'm delighted about. Hopefully, we'll be able to use the proper penultimate corner. Of course, in sim racing, there's no threat of you of crashing into the barrier just on the outside of that circuit, outside of the track. So hopefully, we'll be able to use the proper proper penultimate corner instead of the silly chicane that they've had for the past couple of decades.
I'm completely blanked out. I just don't remember the chicane at all.
Yes,
I might
well,
need to look into it.
I mean, yeah, hate that chicane. Really bad chicane. We've got how many more minutes have we got? We've got 10 more minutes to go in this race, and Mikkel Moore's still 12.5 seconds ahead of Farah, so it doesn't seem to be fuel saving at all. Sorry, not even 12.5 seconds. He's 14 seconds ahead. He's just been maintaining that gap, seemingly showing how Mikkel Moore and Farah have just been really evenly matched. Mikkel Moore wasn't playing games earlier on, as Sam was saying. You know, he was just trying to keep up, and that mistake from Farah has really let Tom off the leash, and probably to a comfortable race win. Trainer still 6 seconds ahead of Fordont, and Dinard 3 seconds ahead of Engelhardt. So that gap about maintaining currently. That's probably the closest battle for the lead that we have. We've also got a little bit of a battle between Goddard and Papyron, which Papyron has had an awful start, got clipped around. I think he had issues with Hugo Prieto earlier on. But since then, Roman has recovered decently. It's taken him a while to get into a decent position. But he's really catching up to number 38, Sebastian Goddard, at this point. And now just 0.8 of a second between the two of them. Doesn't seem like the traffic affected either of them particularly, but no doubt that Papyrion's got a bit more pace. Good livery on that one as well, a bit of a monster-inspired livery there, which must just like the drink, I imagine. I mean, we've seen Rich Energy liveries, and I don't really want to get into that territory because it's quite a dark, deep hole, I imagine, of a discussion, that one, but good to see Monster being represented there.
Yep. The Beamer is monster of a car, so it's fitting.
Yes.
But let's see if it's monster enough to catch up to Goddard.
I mean, it will be quite scary for Goddard to see the car behind him. But just getting a bit of a wiggle there was Papyrion coming out of the carousel.
Yeah, I noticed he lost over half a second there, so that's really not helping his case.
We'll just take this opportunity to thank everyone who's tuned in for this race. Certainly do appreciate it, and of course if you haven't already, we would super appreciate you leaving a like on this video, and also subscribing to the channel as well, and also liking our Facebook page. I've had some horrific memes recently. I don't know if you saw the Connect 4 meme, Sam, but I was particularly fond of that one, so certainly do check out our Facebook page.
I saw it and I was confused for about 10 minutes trying to figure it out.
I mean, yeah, I was so pleased with that. Did you read the quotes on it? At the
I think
bottom
so.
of... Yeah, I'll say I was really pleased with that one. Unfortunately, I only got like 15 reactions, which is less than when we randomly post screenshots of race results. So clearly it didn't really catch on. But
I
well,
think
there
it
you
might
go.
be too high class and too high intelligent meme.
Too many layers of,
Yeah, too many letters.
of philosophies, yeah. Well, I hope that's the case, at least. Morrison's caught up to Lamy a little bit, was 5.5 seconds earlier on, down to 3.5 seconds. Now that's the battle for third place. On that last lap, Morrison was 6/10 of a second fast. On this lap, he is, he's a little bit slow, about 1/10 of a second slow, so seemingly not going to catch by the end of this race. He would need a couple of seconds a lap if he was going to close the gap. So yeah, we've still got 6 minutes actually to go, so he's got a bit of time yet. Stephen Brumfield, unfortunately, has had to come into the pits. Already was a few laps down, but just taking a splash and dash, seemingly a 5-second pit stop, and he'll be back out on circuit imminently, I believe.
Yeah,
well, it's quite a long pit.
I don't think that was scheduled pit stop because here might be something happening. But just a slow spin.
Right.
But I think we are definitely seeing the attrition coming in. Drivers getting disqualified because of the incident points.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be too big a deal around this, but you're absolutely right about the curbs. Mentioning them earlier on, how it's pretty easy just to go too far over the curbs and pick up a few 1Xs. Of course, 17 instants these drivers are limited to. Don't know why it's 17. That's probably a question for another day, but could be 18, could be 16. Would appear to be a more basic number.
Some very smart math that is behind it, but I'm not sure why it's actually 17.
Back has all of a sudden got very close to Neidhart. Ford versus Ferrari. Of course, there's that Ford versus Ferrari film coming out actually next summer, I believe, or maybe even
about the Le Mans.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Looks pretty good. Has it got? I think it's got Brad Pitt in it. I'm not sure. It might do. I'll have to check that one. Looks like a decent film though.
Yeah, I haven't seen much about it, so will be interesting to check it out. Do you know who Brad Pitt is then acting if he's there?
He is. I think he's meant to be like the guy who had the idea from Ford to rival Ferrari and was like the brains behind the campaign that they put together. I believe. But we're seeing this battle play out on circuit at the moment. Doesn't have Brad Pitt in it. I must say that would improve it somewhat. But we'll have to make do with Des Neidhart and Lass back. I don't know why Neidhart lost. Oh, sorry, no, sorry. Neidhart got past back on the last lap because back just went about 6 seconds slower than he's usually been on that last lap. So he actually lost that position. And now is trying to take it back again. And that LMP1 just helping him a little bit, compromise Neidhart's line a bit. But he's going to have to, yeah, probably wait till turn 1 or turn 5 on the next lap to really go for a move.
Yeah, it seems like in the sector times Lasse had the issue in the sector 4 that cost him the 6 seconds, so that might have been a spin or off track. But he is right back on it.
So 3 minutes to go and the race leader has just started the lap. So I think we'll get this one and then only one more. Yeah, so we've got 2 more laps to go for these drivers. These will be, yeah, they won't be caught by the race here. So it will be pretty simple on fuel. This is probably what they would have calculated earlier on, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue there. 0.3 of a second lap forward with decent straight line speed seemingly, and no impression made by back whatsoever. And of course he doesn't want to throw this one away, doesn't want to throw away quite a bit of iRacing. Has a little bit of a mistake there from Neidhart. Allows back to close in by a couple of tenths. Turn 2, ever such a difficult corner, especially in these GTE cars. So easy for the rear end just to step out a little bit because you've got the elevation change on the entry, and then this next corner, of course, downhill braking. Got to brake so much earlier, and you want to open up the corner as much as they possibly can, running a little bit of that curb on the outside. But at the moment, just absolutely faultless is Dennis Neidhart. Down the inside goes back though, and Neidhart gave him plenty of room, and last back after a mistake a couple of laps ago, retakes that 5th position.
That was really surprising because it seemed like Dennis had the pace, especially on the straights. His pace was really good compared to Lasse, who wasn't able to quite even keep up or close in even on the draft. So I don't know, maybe Neidhart is also approaching the incident limit, so he doesn't want to take any chances there. We did see him getting few incidents on this lap already, so let's actually see what does it say on my time screen about his incidents. It's saying 20. No, that's pit lap. Off tracks 15, but our system is a bit more harsh on the incident, so that's probably around 12, I think, for him. I'd have to take a guess. Now, where is Michelmore? He is still around halfway through. This is the final lap, isn't it?
It will be, yes. This lap 35 of the race. And Michelmore, as long as he doesn't run out of fuel, we were talking about earlier on how short his pit stop was, and well, hopefully we'll have a chat with him. I don't think we've ever chatted on, but I don't believe he's ever won a race. So hopefully, a first for everything this evening. And Tom Michelmore, he started this race in 2nd place, managed to keep 2nd place in the early stages as he overtook Patrick Wolf, and as Matt Burr overtook him, was 2nd place for the first kind of 2/3 of this event. But then a mistake in the pit stops for Matt Burr has cost him dearly. 15 seconds, he lost 15 seconds. Tom Michelmore leads by, and he's going to approach the line, and he wins at Road America in the iRacing Le Mans series. Next across the line will be Florian Dienard. And this is going to be Not a comfortable race win by any means. Him and Sasha Engelhardt have been super evenly matched. 2 seconds the gap in the end, seemingly. Engelhardt just making some impressions right at the end of the race. But Florian Dienard in the number 4 Porsche is going to approach the line and waving from side to side on the circuit. And he wins the GTE class in the iRacing Le Mans Series at Road America. And then it will be Alex Trainer, although it might just be worth watching the back Neidhart's battle just for a bit, because Trainer's still got a while to go. Neidhart staying close, did get down to about 0.3 of a second, but back would need to be hit off by this LMP1, and it nearly happens. But back, good recovery in those last couple of laps to recover what will be a 5th position. Beats Des Neidhart there, and now we will go back to Alex Trainer. Him and Calvin Fordon, the only drivers who are still racing out there in the P2 category, because everyone else was lapped. Fordon's closing in a little bit right at the end of the race. 4 seconds between these two kept him honest as Calvin. But now Alex Trainer rounds the final corner, and Joe, who so often is 2nd, 3rd, 4th in this broadcast, well, today it's going to be his day, and he is going to win the P2 category. Congratulations to Alex Trainer, and that was a long time coming. He has won a couple of these races before, and well, hopefully we'll have a chat with us later on as well. Hopefully we'll have a few interviews with the drivers. But that's pretty much everyone across the line, and well, either some rattling going on the sim or in the background.
Yep,
there,
moving to front. No worries.
Yeah, no worries. Well, all the results are in now, so we can go through the results. And Tom Micklemore wins out overall and in the P1 category. 15 seconds ahead of Matt Brett in the end. Patrick Wolfstein's not himself, not his dominant self today. 21 seconds behind in the end in 3rd, but did improve in that 2nd stint at least. Dylan Mann finished in 4th place. Nice result for him after a couple of setbacks. There's Antoine Kuzan, Peter Zuber, David Onazol, and Ruslan Baram Kulov. Also, the retirees in that class were Fabrice Cornelis, who provided an action-packed couple of laps, to say the least, and Ricardo Orozco as well. In the P2s, Alex Trainer won out. He was ahead of Calvin Fordant. Then it was Jonathan Dance, Jesus Grifo, Patrick Meyer, who had issues after leading in the early stages, Arcadius Newman, and then the retirees were Jeremiah Morton, championship leader, of course, Carlos Alvarez Benidi, Tim Grubin, and Marcelo Lopez. In the GTEs, Florian Dienard won out by about 2 seconds ahead of Sasha Engelhardt. Then there's Juha Pekka Lamy in 3rd position. He managed to get ahead of Barry Morrison during the pit stops. Last back managed to get past Dennis Neidhart on the penultimate lap of the race. Then there's Dominic Push, Ty Kim, good result for him, getting a few places up there. Then there's Igor Napol, Alexandra Dejako, Aitor Baradal, Sebastian Goddard, Roman Papiron, Marchan Gadzinski, and then also the retirees were Hugo Prieto and Stephen Brumfield. Also Miguel Camilleri Palomiro and Gine Ruiz Nunez. Palomiro has had quite an impact, let's say, at the kink, which involved a couple of other drivers as well. Unfortunately, you don't seem to have any interviews at the moment, so just a reminder to all the drivers, who are perhaps watching this back in regards to next week, have a chat with us. We do like to get an insights for what was going on out there on circuit. But we can pay our attention, Sam, to next week, because we are heading to Silverstone. And I presume it's the new Silverstone, not the old Silverstone. And personally, I've had massive fun around the new Silverstone so far. I really do like the circuit. And, will be the first time for these cars to visit there. And it should be a good fit because, of course, it does host one of the rounds of the World Endurance Championship.
Yeah, that also reminds me, I need to buy the new Silverstone.
Yes.
I've not driven it on any sims before. So that's gonna be a lot of training I think I need to do next week for the iRacing Le Mans series on my end.
Yes, most likely. So of course I'll be on the full layouts, and well, we have a camera pack as well for that, which will be good. And well, hopefully, of course, you'll join us for next week as well. Of course, on the on Apex Racing TV coming up tomorrow, we'll have the Sim Racers Asia series. That'll be about midday for Europeans, and then in the evening we'll have the Euro V8 Supercar series. Then on Sunday we'll have the Aussie Mixed and Fixed series. Again, that'll be midday for the Europeans. On Monday we'll have the World GT Championship and the MX5 AM series, the BSR MX5 AM series. Then on Tuesday we'll have the BSR MX5 Pro series, of course. And we'll also have the Aussie split of the IMSA series. Also, we'll on Tuesday evening we'll be broadcasting an official split of the Blancpain Sprint series as well. So plenty of fantastic broadcasts coming up. And of course, next week we'll be back in the iRacing Le Mans series at Silverstone. But for now, from me and from Sam as well, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.